All right, good Monday evening, Mid-Michigan. Chief Meteorologist Chris Easlick with your live stream coming to you on a Monday night. Tonight's live stream, of course, since last week, is now brought to you by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. Appreciate them for sponsoring the live stream. And of course, tonight, no doubt about it, it is cold. We do have some cold temperatures and the wind chill down near zero or even a little bit below. For some parts of mid-Michigan tonight, and certainly looks like we'll be able to get out of the freezer over the next couple of days. It's been pretty brutal for the last several days, and certainly nothing unexpected for December, but we are going to warm up over the next couple of days, and I'm sure that comes as welcome news for many. So here's a look at where we're headed the next couple of days. We're likely headed up to the low to mid-30s for tomorrow. I think more mid-30s on Wednesday. And then everything kind of hits its peak as we head towards Thursday. And looks like we'll have a pretty good chance to see our temperatures hit the 40s on Thursday. The problem with that is we do expect, as we go into Thursday night and also into Friday, this is a problem right here. And it looks like we've got temperatures that will be heading towards the 40s and then crashing down pretty quickly into the 20s. And that is something that we will be watching pretty closely over the next couple of days. And when you have that, you have such a rapid temperature drop, of course, following what is appearing to be some rain as we head through Thursday, is we do expect the possibility of there being an icy morning commute on Friday. And we think it's a situation where not only could it be an icy situation, but also the potential where we could see a flash freeze. Now, the complicated thing with flash freeze events is timing is everything with these. So if we can get done with the rain and we stay above freezing for at least a couple of hours, we might be able to time it just right to where road crews can get out. They can get salt, at least on most of the roads, or at least keep our main roads in pretty good shape. I think it will be tough to hit every single road, but I think it is something that we have to at least plan for over the next couple of days to be safe, because we do expect our temperatures to crash pretty quickly going into Friday night. In addition to that, it doesn't seem like there's much going on this evening. But for Tuesday, before we even get to Friday, it is possible that we see some spotty, patchy drizzle, potentially some freezing drizzle or freezing rain throughout Tuesday, and that is mainly in our northern counties. We are only expecting a light glaze, but there could be some slick areas on roads. It really doesn't take much when you're talking about freezing drizzle or freezing rain. Even a glaze of ice, especially on back roads and side streets, can be a little tough. And so we will be watching that pretty closely through tomorrow. The only thing I will say tomorrow is that it does appear to be more of a spotty threat for now. We'll see what the morning brings and see how the day develops. But I think if you're north of US 10 tomorrow, especially as you get closer to M55, I think that's where the chance increases even more. Just be on the lookout for any drizzle that happens, especially early in the day before temperatures warm up, and just to be on the safe side out on the road. So I've got the hour-by-hour forecast here. We'll go through that really quick. Wendy asks a good question with a possible weather alert day. Could there be school closings? Wendy, I would say that's possible. But as I mentioned, flash freeze situations are pretty tricky. Again, timing is everything, and it really just depends on how quickly the rain ends and how quickly we can treat the roads, and then how quickly after that we can get temperatures to fall. So I think I can't say they're not possible on Friday, but it's something that I think we're just going to have to see how it evolves as we go through the week. Good evening, Linda. Hello, Caleb. April from Roscommon. Hi, Shelley. Shelley, one of our weather spotters for many years. And then hi, Kristen. So here's the hour by hour. Through tonight, we've got maybe a stray flurry here and there. We are getting a report of a few flurries at Barstow Airport in Midland. I'm not seeing a ton on the radar when I just took a look, but it might just be some flurry activity really low to the ground, or potentially Some snow getting blown around a little bit. Sometimes that's enough to trip up the sensor. But if anything falls tonight, it's pretty low, or pretty light, I should say. That was the word I'm looking for. And then here's how we go through tomorrow. You really have to look closely, but occasionally there is a little pink that pops up. And it seems like we're getting our latest model run in tonight. So this is the latest data. I've got to back up a few frames right about here. This model, not excited quite as much as the first one, but if you look towards Houghton Lake and you look just to the left of the word Houghton Lake, you've got a little area of pink popping up. And on the round of data this afternoon, it was a little bit farther south, but now that I'm looking at this, if you look just above the hour-by-hour banner, it seems like some of the pink shade is moving a little bit further to the north. Now keep in mind, this is just a model run, a new run of data that we're getting in tonight. And so, that's a relatively new trend from just probably 6 hours ago. So we'll see if that's consistent. I hope it is, because nobody likes freezing drizzle. But that shows you the placement in some of those northern counties. That's where we think we have the best chance for some of that spotty drizzle tomorrow. I do want to emphasize that I don't think everybody sees drizzle tomorrow. I think this is more of a localized event for our Tuesday. So it's one of those things where if you don't run into it, great. That'd be fantastic. Drizzle is very hard to detect on radar. It's very hard in these types of situations to tell you which towns exactly are going to see drizzle. But I would say our northern counties probably have the better chance of seeing that. Now, going into Tuesday night, you'll notice temperatures kind of warm up a little bit. We actually get our warmest temperatures towards the very end of the day tomorrow, and we actually see temps warm up into Wednesday. And then going into Wednesday morning, we're back in the mid-30s. Wednesday looks like a warmer day. So I don't think we have to worry about any freezing drizzle, freezing rain, anything like that on Wednesday. Maybe a flurry tries to sneak through here Wednesday. We actually get a bit of sunshine for Wednesday afternoon. And then once we go into Thursday, that's when we get the real good warm-up. As you see temperatures start climbing into the upper 30s to potentially even low 40s. But then after that, we get some rain involved. And so it's that rain, along with the warmer temperatures, that's going to warm us up a little bit. See those temperatures as we get closer to 5 o'clock. We've got some even heavier showers that are expected to come through. And then you'll also notice as we start getting into the later evening hours, it doesn't go far enough. This is our higher resolution model, so it doesn't go all the way out. But you're already starting to see these temperatures fall to the west here towards the end, towards Mount Pleasant, and this is 6:30 here. And so we're already dropping into the 30s. After that, we'll have a chance to drop off pretty quickly going into the overnight hours. And so that's when we're concerned about how our temperatures are going to evolve. So let me just take the futurecast temperatures here, and I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. So this is 3:30 or 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and then going into 7. We're already dropping into the 30s by 7. 11 o'clock, we're at that freezing mark. By 1, we're in the 20s. By 5, we're in the teens and 20s. And so that's that rapid drop in temperature. We're down over 20 degrees in some spots just from the afternoon with upper 30s and low 40s until the morning commute the next day. So that's a pretty quick drop. And why you're worried about the potential for a flash freeze as we go into Friday morning. So again, we're up to 83 people now. And I'll just take a look pretty quickly to see if any questions have popped up. Christy, will we be included in that freezing drizzle area tomorrow? I think you have a chance. I think the chance is a little bit better north of Gladwin compared to Gladwin County itself, but I would say you're close enough to where if you run into drizzle tomorrow, just be careful. If you don't, great. That's what tomorrow's situation is I think a lot of us will avoid it, but those who do, you need to be careful on the roads. How is January snowfall looking? I got to be honest, Sharita, I haven't looked at January yet. But I know leading into January is not looking great because of how warm things are looking around Christmas time. I wouldn't necessarily say, if you're seeing any exact projections for Christmas, I think it's a little bit too early. So if you're saying guaranteed. You know, we're going to be 50 on Christmas Day. I've seen some of that out there so far, 55, 60 being projected for Christmas Day. I think that's a little premature. I think we have the potential to be warmer than average going into next week. We're clearly having a chance to hit the 40s this week, but I think any talk of specifics with Christmas temperatures and those types of things, I think it's a little early for that. But it will be a warmer second half of the month, the way the next week or so is looking compared to the front half. But keep in mind, average is around 34. So to be above average, technically, if we're in the 37, 38 degree range, we are a little bit above average. So just in case you are late to joining the stream here, our main concern here over the next several days is Friday. So why is it an alert day possible versus just an actual alert day? Just because, again, the timing with flash freeze is tricky. How much time from the time the rain stops to how much time do we get to treat the roads versus how much rain we get and how much melting we get, side streets, back roads. But I think, assuming we keep seeing the temperature progressions that we're seeing right now, I think it's very possible we need to pay attention to any possible delays, things like that, going into Friday morning. So parents, I know you had probably some kids home earlier last week, Wednesday. I think it's something that you'll have to be aware of going into Friday, at least the possibility of it. Melissa asks about fog. Are you asking about fog for Thursday night and Friday or for tomorrow? John Rose says Bay City. Bay City probably has a lower chance of drizzle. Again, I think the better chance is the further you go north towards M55 and the further you get north of US 10. Tomorrow's drizzle chance pretty low. At least that's the way it looks right now. But drizzle is one of my least favorite things. Because a lot of times drizzle just when you think it's about to end, it keeps on going for another 3 hours. As far as how much rain, I've gotten that question a little bit. We're generally expecting about a quarter to a half inch at this point. We're still several days away from that, so we'll see if those totals change. But our models have been pretty consistent across the board in about a half inch being sort of the top end of the range. And this is what it looks like. Now, I will say it's not a benefit to have drought conditions, but I will say the drought is going to make this manageable for us. I think it will be soggy after the rain on Thursday. I think you'll get that melting snow. I think you'll add rain on top of that. There will be no shortage of water. But as far as any significant flooding threat, that doesn't appear to be on the table for now. The one thing that I will say is if you're in a poor drainage area, for instance, if your drains are clogged from the snow, if the snow plows, if they've gone by and not purposely, but if that snow is packing up next to drains on your street, and it's something you can take maybe a shovel to and kind of clear that out as you go into Thursday, might not be a bad idea just so that water has somewhere to go. Getting a lot of questions on fog, so let's see if we can take a look. Let me see where our fog visibility graph, excuse me, our visibility model here. Let's just take it out to Thursday. Looks a little bit that way. Anytime you've got warm air, anytime you've got melting snow underneath, I would say you have at least the possibility. But oftentimes as that rain comes down, the rain kind of disrupts that. So I would say, yeah, fog is possible. But I also think it'll be key on how much wind we have coming through on Thursday. Let me just take a look. I'll put this graphic up just for anyone who is joining the stream to watch some of the, if there's any concerns we have towards the end of the week. Let me just check winds really quick, but I think there's going to be enough wind to where I also don't think fog is going to be a major problem. But I do want to just double check to make sure I've got my days straight here. But yeah, I think this system will have enough wind. So yeah, Thursday morning, our winds look like they're coming from the south about 10 to 20 miles per hour. That should be enough to avoid fog being a major issue on Thursday morning. And it looks like our wind stays pretty strong throughout the day Thursday. I wouldn't necessarily call it an overwhelming wind, but I would say it's a breezy day on Thursday. So I'm not necessarily concerned about fog. I wouldn't be shocked if you get some of that, I like to call it a London look, where you've got some of the misty skies because of your melting snow and some of the rain that's falling too. But I wouldn't say fog at this time would be a major concern of mine on Thursday, just because of the wind. So Sherry asked that question too. So Sherry and Melissa, hopefully I answered that for you. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it for this live stream tonight. Feel free to ask any questions. I don't see any major snowfall chances anytime soon the next 7 days. Winter arrives this weekend. If you follow the astronomical calendar, meteorological winter started with December 1st. But if you're more of the traditional December 21st date, that will be this weekend on Sunday. So winter will officially arrive. Some will say that it's arrived already based on what they see outside of their window. But winter officially arrives on Sunday according to the astronomical calendar. Renee says, I don't want it to rain. I want a white Christmas. Renee, I'm actually with you on that. I think there is something very underwhelming about seeing grass and mud on Christmas. Now, after January 1st, there's an argument for that, but I would definitely prefer that for Christmas, that's for sure. And this year, I am willing, not that anyone cares what I think, but I am willing to sacrifice. Did you like that one, Christian? I am willing to sacrifice dealing with winter for a couple of months so our winter sports friends can actually have a good season to enjoy that. It's been really tough going the last several years. So hopefully we get a good ice season. I drove over the Saginaw River a couple of times today. It looks like we've got some ice building there. Obviously, a lot of questions on just how safe that ice would be at this point. Probably a little too soon, of course. And I also don't see anyone out there yet. And I'm not an ice fisherman myself, but I trust that if it was ready to go, that our ice fishermen would be out there. Let's see. So I'm not seeing any more questions. Again, just be in tune with the forecast Thursday night and Friday for the potential of icy roads. Again, it's going to be tough. I think a lot of it comes down to timing. But I also think, side streets and back roads are going to be a little bit tough. With the rain, I did talk to our contact at MDOT earlier today, and she said one of the difficulties is, sometimes in certain situations they can pre-treat, but in certain situations you have to be careful because you don't want to treat and you don't want the rain to wash away that treatment. So that is another complicating factor that goes into it on Thursday as well. Can we treat fast enough going into Friday morning, and can we treat enough going into Friday morning? There's no doubt we're getting cold. I'll play through that temperature animation one more time. But if we take a look at Thursday afternoon, we've got the upper 30s, we've got the 40s, and by 8 o'clock that night, we're already dropping. By 10, we're hovering around the freezing mark or just above. By 2, we're already below. By 6, we're in the teens and low 20s. So that is your temporary temperature forecast for now, and we'll see how those numbers fluctuate over the next couple of days. All right, so we will end the stream there. Nice to see everybody tonight. We will have more of these, of course, throughout the week. Thankful for our sponsor, Bresky Siding and Building Repair. Appreciate them for sponsoring our stream. Appreciate all of you for watching and making this worthwhile. We've had a good crowd the last several times of doing this. I'm sure we will have more as we get closer to that Thursday night and Friday time frame, especially. Until then, I will see you all tomorrow and have a wonderful Monday night.